Okay, welcome back. I know this looks like a mess, but I think if you paid attention as we kind of went along, you'll see how it all works out. But the last we left was all the final judgments happening. So all the people that weren't found in the book of life, death and Hades itself, and Satan was thrown into the lake of fire. But now we're getting into the next verse, the next chapter, 21, and looky here. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. Remember, the sea is like a sea of souls, sea of living things that people could control. Maybe that's the point. They can control it. Okay, so and then I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. Okay, so like I guess there's like a new line here, but I don't know really where to put stuff. So just in this little space here, so we see a new heaven, a new earth, new Jerusalem, but I'm gonna just put we see the bride. Okay, we see the bride. If you look a little bit further down in verse, let's see here, like verse 11, we can see that talking about the bride, she was having the glory of God, and her light was unto a stone most precious, even like jasper stone, clear as crystal, had a wall great and high, 12 gates, and at the gates 12 angels. Very well adorned. I think the gates are made of pearl, one single pearl. Um, okay, so we see that the bride is there, right? If you go down to verse 17, we see that, and he measured the wall thereof in 144 cubits, according to the measure of a man. This is an indication that the 144,000 are there. So the bride is there. The 144,000 are there. Okay. So the three people we're worried about is the bride, the 144,000, and then God's army, right? So we see the bride, we see the 144,000. And then if you go down a little bit further to we got to go to 22 here, Revelation 22. In verse 3, we see here, speaking of, continuing to speak of the New Jerusalem. In verse 3, it says, "And there should be no more curse, but the throne of God and of the Lamb shall be in it, and his servants shall serve him, and they shall see his face, and his name shall be on their foreheads." Okay, so we saw the bride, we saw the 144,000, and now these servants that serve him. If you remember, we very first saw them back in Revelation 7. This is the great multitude that comes out of the great tribulation, right? And we'll see that right here in verse 14. "And I said unto him, Sir, you knowest. And he said to me, These are they which come out of the great tribulation, and have washed their robes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb." That's all right there. Sorry. Okay, so here's the kicker. "Therefore they are before the throne of God, and serve him day and night in his temple." So that's these guys' role, is that they are going to serve in the throne room of God forever, which is a pretty special thing, right? So here it says that they serve, like it make it sound a little bit like a servant kind of, but I think it's a real honor. So again, we were in 22. We were in 22:3. 22 verse 3. "And there shall be no more curse, but the throne of God and of the Lamb shall be in it, and his servants shall serve him." So again, It says the servants, but I'm going to also put like this is the army of God. So we see all three. We see here at the end, we see all three people that we're worried about. We see the bride, we see the 144,000, and we see the army of God in the very last chapter, okay? And then look, that's kind of it. He says, listen, I'm coming soon. So let me turn this big. And we can talk about it again a little bit, sort of. So I don't know how much really time I have to really talk about it, but just want to, here we are at the end, and just want to say that, again, the book is concerned with the churches, and the churches are all about the bride, wheats and tares, but it's also concerned about the corporate church, and the corporate church ends up, on riding Babylon. This is like religion, so this is the Pope, and I think we all can sort of agree that that's what we see. We see them. The important message is that the bride has to go through the tribulation, and that it's a testing and a refinement period, and that it's going to be like you cannot see the demons, you cannot see the angels, you cannot see Satan. So these will be deep moral issues that they will have to contend with, like worse than anything, like great tribulation. Meanwhile, it also talks, there are other wars always going on. There's also, like, real life still continues. But the warning, it really is for the bride to, like, be prepared that you're going through refinement here. This is what great tribulation is. It's refinement. And if you can make it, if you can, like, stay faithful, then you will be harvested, and God won't miss one. Like, He won't allow one wheat that's stuck in the tares to be stuck there. He will find that one wheat out of the tares and get it. There's only 1 hour of God's wrath. So when you come in through here and somebody tells you, oh, the church doesn't have to go through the great tribulation, it doesn't have to do God's wrath. Well, we're talking two different things. The great tribulation is one thing. God's wrath is way over here, another thing. And by the way, they're right. The only ones that are going into God's wrath are the tares out of the church, the tares, and then the woman who the corporate church represented by Babylon also goes into the hour of wrath, and it's triple double woes for them. It's woe, 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 woe. Like triple double woes for Babylon. And then that's not the end. See, again, remember I was telling you, like, this kind of deals like all of this deals with the church. It doesn't even deal with the outside world. Well, finally, at the very end, Jesus deals with the outside world. And there's a final army and a final battle with the beast. And it says that, the sword that comes out of his mouth, like, kills everybody, and the beasts of the field will feast on it. So it's like a huge war, and many people die. We see the bride come out in fine linen. Satan is bound for 1,000 years. And we also see, after Satan's bound for 1,000 years, we see the great multitude come out, which is the first resurrection. The great multitude being finally these guys after the battle. He needed them for the battle, right? But after the battle's done, all the ones that died will be resurrected. That's the first resurrection. Okay? Then there's 1,000 year time period. And then at the very, very end, Satan is loosed again one more time. I don't know why. It's the way it is, right? He gathers Gog and Magog for the last final war. But what happens is Satan is thrown in the lake of fire. Death and Hades is thrown in the lake of fire. And all the people that are not found in the book of life are thrown in the book of fire. Which happens because there's a second raising of all humanity, which is the second resurrection. And these, I don't know, some might go to life, some might go to, into the lake of fire. After that, there's even more. We see rejoicing in heaven, and we see a new Jerusalem coming out of heaven, which is the bride of Christ, which is represented by a new Jerusalem, adorned in all the precious stones, all the pearls, everything, adorned like a real queen. And at the party is the 144,000, and also the army of God is also seen at the party. So all the main characters are there at the end, and that is your timeline of all of Revelation. So I hope you enjoyed this. It's a lot of work for me, but I don't know, it's a labor of love. So let me know. And listen, I'm not dogmatic about this. I'm learning and evolving as we go. So let me know what you think. And I'll see you on the next one, right? All right, thanks. Bye.